Hey everybody, good morning. This is Matt Kramer here. I just finished building up the station on Star Trek Fleet Command to level 23. Um, and when I got off the system, when I got off the game, I opened up the science labs to hopefully finish by Sunday. Actually, I think it's Tuesday now. Uh, by Tuesday I can no Sunday tomorrow because I use them Latinum to speed it up. Um, by Sunday afternoon I will be able to finish the defensive upgrades, the mission I've been working on for a while in the game. So while that is going on, I'm going to finish my opinions on the best and worst Star Trek episodes, Star Trek episodes TNG. And we are in the final season, season 7. So let me share my screen here. No sound needed, so I'll just share the screen. Delete that. Hide media control. Okay, starting with the episode called Liaisons. Liaisons. This one's a good one. Uh, there's some comedy because there's three ambassadors, three alien dignitaries, ambassadors, who come on board the ship, and they have to learn about other cultures. One ambassador learns about how to respond to stress. Another um, learns about what makes people happy, I guess. And Ambassador Byleth, I think it's Byleth, and yeah, Byleth, Lokel, Iarin ambassadors, Lokel, Byleth. I thought there was a third one. Oh yeah, Voval, Ambassador Voval. So Picard goes with Voval, and Voval has the ability to trans kind of shapeshift into a woman, and it's kind of a mysterious episode. Really, it's good. It's a good mysterious episode. Um, Vaval wanted to learn about love. Um, uh, Byleth fought. Um, Byleth was fighting with Worf over a game of poker, and Laquel worked a lot with yeah, Deanna Troy. Laquel was the funniest of the ambassadors. So this is a good episode. I thought um, this is a good episode. If you want to laugh, that's a good one. Next one is Interface. This one's a good one. This one's another of LeVar Burton's great episodes where he finds his mother's ship, and he puts this apparatus on, and um, he basically becomes not becomes a probe, but there's a probe in there, and this is one of the first few episodes where we get to see um besides the episode where Q gives Riker his powers from season 1. um I forget what episode it's called now. But this is one of those episodes, interface is one of those episodes we get to see LeVar Burton's eyes, his real eyes, for the first time in a while. So it's a good episode. Again, one of LeVar Burton's best episodes. And his mother's ship, called the Hera, uh, is presumed lost, I think, but they find it. But I think all the people on the ship were killed, and there's fire these fire aliens that looks like tongues of fire, and Geordi, unfortunately, Geordi LaForge disobeys the captain's orders, and Data helps him, and it's a good episode, but it's also somewhat of a sad episode at the same time, because Geordi has to realize that his mother is actually gone. So this is a very good episode for LeVar Burton. Next is Gambit. This is a good one. Gambit part 1 and 2. Picard is presumed dead at first, but then he's actually transported to his ship, and he is it's part of this mercenary group that tries to collect parts, and he realizes that there's this powerful Romulan weapon that feeds on fear, feeds on anger. And one of the officers in this mercenary group is portraying a Vulcan when she's actually Romulan. And Picard realizes that. And it's a really good episode. It's Gambit. There's 2 parts to this show, to this episode, I should say. Good one. So let's move on to next one. After Gambit, yeah, that's the weapon. It's a good episode as a whole. It's really good. After Gambit this is another one of Data's best episodes, and Brent Spiner's, where Phantasms is this the one where he plays numerous characters? No, that's a different one. Oh, that's Masks is the one I'm thinking of. Masks is another one of Brent Spiner's best performances, and I think we'll get to that one. Really, this is a weird dream. That's what it is. But the dream is actually also true, because there's little microscopic aliens roaming around. And I think this is when Data has to use a high-pitched sound to get rid of these droids. And the holographic Sigmund Freud is used in this too, which is interesting. They hear a ringing of old telephone ringing, old 19th century telephone ringing, and it keeps ringing and ringing. But the phone in the dream, the phone is in Data's android body, and it's a really cool episode. A little creepy, but cool at the same time. So that's Phantasms. Next is Dark Pit. This is one of the sadder ones. One of the sadder episodes. Because there's a secret that like Swan Troy has had for many, many years, and it's not revealed until now. And that is, the secret is that there was a daughter before Deanna Troi. So Deanna Troi, Marina Sirtis, had a sister before she was born, I believe. Named Kendra or Kestra. And Kirsten Dunst shows up in this episode. Very young Kirsten Dunst. They meet a alien group that's trying to learn how to communicate verbally instead of telepathically. Excuse me, which is good. Yeah, so Kestra's her name. This this is one of the sadder episodes regarding regarding this dead sister. It's a good one, but it's a little sad. Dark page. Attached is another good one where Picard and Crusher are kidnapped and they're given these little things in the back of their necks that tells the other their thoughts. Um, it's kind of a little creepy. Another creepy one. Um, but there's always been, as all of us Star Trek fans know, there's always been good chemistry between Picard and Crusher. Unfortunately, that was never realized in the Picard series, um, or in the movies, really. Maybe a little bit in Nemesis, from what I saw. Um, but this is a good one for both Picard, uh, both Patrick Stewart and Gates McFadden. Um, yeah, attached. Next is Force of Nature. In Force of Nature, there are two scientists, brother and sister. I believe brother and sister. Damon Proc. Data tries to train Spot the cat. Yeah, brother and sister. Um, I think the sister is a little impatient, too impatient. She wants an investigation in this what's it called? Cosmic Stream. Is it Cosmic Stream? It's a fabric of subspace, which is being drained by warp drive. So it's a good episode. It's a good episode. Um, Ferengi are involved. So this a subspace rift is formed, and it surfs a distortion wave. And the sister being impatient when the sister goes in and is killed, I believe. A little sad, but it's still a good episode. After Force of Nature is Inheritance. This is where Data's mother, pretty much mother, stepmother, come back. But we realize Julia Taylor is not who she appears to be. She's actually Julia Taylor. The real Julia Taylor is dead. This is an android copy of Julia Taylor. Wonderful work by Dr. Noonien Soon. Um, but unfortunately, because of self-preservation, I guess, to keep the privacy there, Julie is never told that she's an android. She's never told. But we do get to see a holographic Dr. Noonien soon, a younger Dr. Noonien soon. So, also played by Brent Spiner. So, this is a really good episode. Another one of Brent Spiner's best. After Parallels is a very good episode. Michael Dorn did really well adjusting to all the time warps, the time changes, and stuff. He comes back from Batleth tournament of Forkers 3. He goes into a filament of the space-time continuum, and he's the only one that realizes these changes. And so it's really good. It's a really good episode for Michael Dorn. Anyway, yeah, that's a good one. Parallels. Next is the Pegasus. Terry O'Quinn joins this cast in this one, and it's about the Pegasus, which is a ship that Riker was on before the Potemkin, before the Enterprise. This is a really good one. Good history lesson in Star Trek. So, Captain, now Admiral, what's his name? Captain Picard Day, yeah. Captain Picard Day, blah, blah, blah. The Pegasus is not necessarily destroyed, but it has been found phased in a rock, in an asteroid, because of a warp core breach. But the ship is never destroyed. What's his name? Pressman, Admiral Pressman. Admiral Pressman, yeah. Interphasic Cloak. This is a good episode. I like this episode. After the Pegasus is Homeward, where Worf meets his stepbrother, uh, uh, or his half brother, foster brother, yeah, his foster brother, Nikolai Roshenko, played by the late great Paul Sorvino. This is a good episode for Michael Dorn and Paul Sorvino. The Prime Directive is brought up a lot in this one, which is good. It's really good. So I like it. Penny Johnson-Jarrell plays in this one too. Sub Rosa is not the. So I think Sub Rosa has been noted as being one of the worst episodes in the series, not just this season, but the worst in the series. Also, Remember Me is not a well-known one, and that's centered around Beverly Crusher as well. It again, it's not well liked, even though it's directed by Jonathan Frakes. It's not a well liked episode among fans, I don't think. After Sub Rosa is Lower Decks. Lower Decks. Now there's a show called Lower Decks, which I'm not a fan of. Um, this could have been called Ensigns of Command. This could have been. This should have been called Ensigns of Command. And the Ensigns of Command, I already told you, should be called the Shellyak. That's all it has to be called, the Shellyak. But this is a good episode, and we get to see Ensign Cito Jackson. Got to see this guy, Nurse Ogawa. I think that's Ogawa. And Turek. And Turek is featured in some later books, recently published Star Trek books. And really cool. Let's see. Sam Lavelle, Turek, Nurse Elisa Ogawa. Promotion. Trying to get on Riker's good side, playing poker with this guy who's just a fill-in for Guinan, I guess. And this one's at the end of the episode. It's a little sad because Cito Jackson dies in the line of duty. She is given, she's sent into Cardassian space via shuttlecraft, with a Cardassian defector who is giving vital intelligence to the Federation. And the shuttlecraft is captured by Cardassians, and I believe both occupants died, Cito Jackson and his Cardassian. And sad at the end, but it is a good episode. And because of Cito Jackson's death, Lavelle gets the extra pip, so he's a full-on lieutenant junior grade. So this is a good episode. And Cito Jackson's in the Makbara class with Worf, and there's a good dialogue with him too as well. So I like that. After Lower Decks is Thine Own Self. Data goes has an accident. He suffers amnesia. And why he suffered amnesia, I'm not sure we really know why he suffered amnesia. But he doesn't remember himself. And it's weird that an android can suffer amnesia. What we call amnesia should be called something else for an android, but it could be because of the probe containing radioactive material, and the radioactive material interfered with Data's memory core. That could be what happened. And so yeah, this is a good episode. After Thine Own Self is Matt. This is one of Brent Spiner's best. This is probably the best Brent Spiner episode, period. Is Masks, where he plays 3 or 4 different characters representing old gods, small g, old gods. Let me get the let's see. Let's see. Masaka is waking. Yeah, Masaka, Gorgano. And I think there's an old man also. Ehat. Ehat. Ehat, Masaka, and Ehat, Masaka. Hmm. Yeah, Gorgano. Gorgano, Masaka, and Ehat. All played by Brent Spiner. Data and Brent Spiner. So this is Data. This is Brent's, I believe, top episode period of the whole series. Very good. Next is Eye of the Beholder, and in Eye of the Beholder, a crewman commits suicide. Another crewman is found to be murdered. And we find that the man who is murdering is another officer. And the actor who plays the suspect this is an interesting mystery um, episode. Hmm. Yeah, interesting. And what they find is that there's a body inside the cell there where Quan kills himself. So this is a good episode. It's mysteriously a little creepy, but it's a good episode if you like thriller mystery stuff. After Eye of the Beholder is Genesis. This is one of the creepiest ones. It refers to evolution. Um, there's a medical treatment by Dr. Crusher that goes wrong. And Barkley, this is Barkley here as a spider. Really great makeup artistry here. Worf becomes a prehistoric Klingon monster. Um, Riker is a caveman. Looks like a caveman. Who else? Deanna is amphibious. Uh, Nerjagawa is another, um, almost like a sort of a cave woman, monkey type creature. So very good makeup artistry, makeup design for this episode. Really, really good. And Spot the cat becomes a lizard iguana, I think. Really interesting. One officer's killed. It's one of the creepy ones. It was scary when I was a kid watching this. So it was really, really scary. Next is Journey's End. Native Americans are involved in this one. This is a good one too. Um, Kardashians want to take take this planet away from these inhabitants. Doran 5. Um, these Native Americans have had this planet for what 500 years or so. Kardashians want to take it over. There's always a dispute, and this is when Wesley Crusher becomes a member of the Travelers for the first time. Wesley comes back. He's not sure if he wants to stay in the academy or lead the academy. And so he finally he gets to meet the Traveler, the first Traveler, again. And that's the last thing we see of Wesley as a member of Starfleet. This is a good episode. Journey's End is a good episode. After Journey's End is Firstborn, where Alexander Rashenko, as an adult, comes back in time, and he calls himself Kimtar, who is he's a Gintak of the House of Moog. James Sloyan plays Kimtar in this one as well. This is one of James Sloyan's best episodes, and Worf too, and Michael Dorn. We get to see Quark again, Armin Shimmerman. We get to see the Duras sisters. Cool, cool, cool. So this one's a good episode. Then we see Bloodlines. Apparently, there's a young man who's perceived to be a son of Picard. And then we find out that's not entirely true. It's all made up fiction by the Ferengi. And Damon Bach is stripped of rank, I think, in this episode. So Bloodlines is good. Emergence. There's a new life form emerging, and they went from Picard and Data here. They went from Shakespeare to a shake. I think it's called. Is it called the Tempest or Taming of the Shrew? Yeah, the Tempest. The Tempest, and then um Polar Express. And the Polar Express goes through uh this that this Shakespeare program through a fault. The Orient Express, yeah. So there's a problem um with the holodeck. Blah blah blah. And they're doing a puzzle. It's all centered around a train. Uh, there's a hitman, train conductor, officer who's collecting tickets. There's a hitman on site. This probably the location. I think it's California, but it's trying to look like either Chicago or New York. I think it's Chicago, but of course it's filmed. I think it's filmed in California, and one of the lots of California. Um, so this is a good episode. So a new life form is found. New York City. Times Square station. Nice. So it's supposed to look like New York. That's cool. So this is a good one. After Emergence is the final episode. No, Preemptive Strike, and then there's the final one. Preemptive Strike. We see Ro again, Ro Laren, and this is where she becomes a member of the Maquis. Um, this is the last we see of Ro Laren on the screen. We see Ro Laren later in books, and she, excuse me, by Star Trek Online, she's in charge of Deep Space Nine. She's captain of Deep Space Nine, I believe, after Cisco. So this is a cool episode. So this is a good episode. The final one is All Good Things. This is the last episode of the series. All good things must come to an end. Picard um, time travels against his will by Q, past, present, and future, all centered around a something in space. Let's see. And good makeup by all the guys here. Riker, Crusher, Worf, Data, Geordi. Great makeup design. We see Tomaluk here again. It's just an anomaly. Huh. An anomaly that supposedly Picard created. Interesting. All the Enterprises go inside this anomaly. All of them are destroyed but one. But the trial never ends. And this is the only time that Picard actually plays poker with his crew. And then we get into Generations, First Contact, Insurrection and Nemesis, and now Sergeant Picard. So that's the end of my review and opinions of the episodes of Star Trek Next Generation. Hope you enjoyed, and I will be with you again very soon. Actually, tomorrow. Tonight and tomorrow, and Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, Monday morning, Tuesday morning. So thank you for viewing this video. Have a great day.